Debuting at the Royal Court Theatre in London back in 1973, the Rocky Horror Picture Show quickly became a cult classic. Cementing its early popularity, 2 years later it was made into a film, staying true to its stage counterpart. Rocky Horror is well known for its references to horror and science fiction, particularly those considered low-budget and camp. As a tribute to these films, it is only appropriate that the opening number calls out those that came before it. Their inspirations are animated within the film's production, costuming, and characterization, so it feels right that the red lips opening the show hold viewers' attention, singing an ode to their artistic predecessors. Films from the era captured within science fiction/double feature have an appropriate mix of horror and science fiction, as the song's title may suggest. On top of this, the style of many science fiction films naturally includes many elements found in horror, such as exploration into the unknown. So, it may be argued that all the references to films here are all in one way or another references to classic horror, maybe except for Flash Gordon. But to keep things simple, those films that are primarily horrors will be explored first. References to major tropes and genres. Classic is the keyword here as we encounter the first reference. Shortly into science fiction/double feature, viewers are greeted with a true horror classic, with Claude Rains' role in the 1933 film, The Invisible Man starting strong. The Invisible Man represented the potential of simpler horror in Hollywood. Despite being relatively overshadowed by its contemporaries, including Frankenstein and its sequels, Rocky Horror understands its strength within the genre. Similarly, from 1933, the next reference is to Fay Wray's role in King Kong, and, unlike The Invisible Man, is definitely a more recognizable classic. Wray's role contributed to the formulation of the damsel in distress character trope, which is one that is picked at within Janet's characterization. The foreshadowing of this in the opening number is one which can be better appreciated in one of many rewatches. Moving swiftly on, a time jump to 1953 occurs and the science fiction horror It Came from Outer Space is name-dropped. This reference is short but sweet, calling back to a film that helped to familiarize the alien genre on screen, offering some context to the backstory of those such as Frank-N-Furter and Riff Raff. Its quick passing reference also points to the lack of information given about the origins of these characters in the film. More specific character references returning to the 1930s, this reference offers some depth to some of the themes and events occurring in Rocky Horror. That is, of course, the mystery horror, Dr. X from 1932, which, due to its pre-production code release, got away with racier themes of murder and rape. These tendencies remind viewers of Dr. Frank-N-Furter, particularly once Eddie makes his appearance. More allusions to the character of Janet occur as the Day of the Triffids is referenced. The song speaks to Jeanette Scott's character Carden Goodwin fighting off the plant monster's advances, which is later reminiscent of Janet fighting off urges within Furter's mansion. The last horror to pop up is the 1957 film Night of the Demon, starring Carver Dana Andrews. Here, Andrews travels to England to investigate a satanic cult. Like the other horror references in this number, here viewers are reminded that the characters and events are largely unknown, both throughout and by the end of the film. It could be an alien movie or equally have more sinister, demonic qualities. Nonetheless, all things that are referenced are in some way, whether significant or in passing, manifested later within the film, paying respect to the horror that came before it. Getting specific with science fiction, as soon as the song begins, viewers hear a reference to Michael Rennie in the 1951 film, The Day the Earth Stood Still. Like Frank-N-Furter, Rennie's character is a leading alien species coming to Earth with a message. They are just very different messages given in very different ways. Immediately, this is contrasted with a reference to Flash Gordon in his silver underwear, which viewers will remember after the first meeting with Rocky as he emerges from his tank in nothing but gold underwear. The most interesting recall that comes from this opening number is the 1955 monster movie, Tarantula. Mixing scientific experimentation with a feeling of being under the control of another captures the camp and surreal energy of Rocky Horror quite well. With this one, it almost feels like the lyric writers are intentionally avoiding a more obvious choice of movie monster. It makes the viewer question the choice and positioning of all the references scattered throughout, and like much of the ending, it is left unanswered. In a way, this has only helped to cement this opening number, alongside the actual film, as one with an incredibly enduring legacy in popular culture. Out of a marvelous selection of musical numbers, science fiction/double feature is frequently referenced as one of the best, and for good reason. The simple, yet alluring references urge viewers to consider those genre classics which paved the way for brilliance.